Check out these two bikes. These two bikes I just bought turned out to be incredibly rare finds. So these bikes were only made for 1 year in 1973. So these are 1973 Harley Davidson Ermaki TX 125s. And the history on these are pretty cool. So Ermaki made their first motorcycle in 1950 to 1951. Then Harley Davidson bought half the company in 1960. And the TX 125 that you see right here was made in 1973 for 1 year only. In 1974, Harley Davidson bought the rest of the company, and they ended up selling rebadged models until 1978. So these are the genuine 1 year only Harley Davidson Ermakis. Otherwise, the other models are just Harley Davidson. So these 1973 models are the extremely rare ones. Online, I've seen ones go for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in not that good a condition. So the 1973 ones are extremely hard to find. The years after that are not that valuable, but because it was the 1 year only, that makes them extremely rare and valuable to collectors. And I didn't know that when I bought these, so that was a pretty lucky thing. And the best part is, each one of these bikes, I paid $200, so $400 for the pair. So an extremely good deal, especially now that they're 1973 models. And this one appears to be in pretty much all original condition. Unfortunately, the engine is locked up. We're gonna try to dig into that and see if it's just a stuck ring or something. This model looks like it was partially restored, or somebody tried to at one point. You can see the gas tank has been painted, seat recovered, a newer battery in there. They put a pod filter instead of the air box. So things have been done to this bike. I'm guessing this is the one that ran last. It does kick over, and it feels like it has pretty decent compression. The mileage on this one, check out the gauge by the way, pretty cool, is 1,518 miles. So not many for this little bike. All the controls are here, buttons are here, blinkers are on it. And the genuine tail light is on there as well. Original headlight. Pretty cool looking bike. Original pipe on there. And then this one, like I said, is locked up. It does have the Harley Davidson gauge on there with 1,628 miles. Check out the gas tank. Yeah, it's pretty rusty in there. But between the two bikes, I'm hoping to make one good one. Or possibly get this engine freed up and have two running and driving bikes by the end of the video. I think we're going to start with this one and probably use parts from this one to swap over to that one, is my guess. You can see right there the badge, made in Italy. Harley like to put all their stickers on it right away because they own half the company. So I guess I don't blame them for that. The pipe on this one looks to be broken in half. But yeah, that's pretty much all I know about these bikes. I do know that they were at an auction before I bought them. So I'm guessing the seller that sold them to me bought these for extremely cheap, didn't know what he had, and then sold them to me for $200 a piece. And the seller that sold them to me didn't know anything about them. All he knew was that this one was locked up. He doesn't know how long they sat for. He doesn't know when they last ran. So going into these bikes is going to be a bit of a mystery, which is kind of fun. So let's get going on these bikes. We're going to get these in the garage and we'll start digging into them. So this bike, the seller was kicking over before he sold it to me. And I kicked it over a couple times. So let's go ahead and kick it over a couple times on camera. It's not going to hurt it at this point. So we'll see what that compression feels like. I think it'll be enough compression to start that thing. Doesn't feel like the greatest compression, but I think there's enough there. And then this one, trying to kick it over, you can see it's completely stuck. All right, we got both bikes in the garage here. let's start taking a peek at them. So the first one we're gonna take a peek at is this one. This is the all original one. Let's kind of go over the whole bike here. So the seat definitely looks original. Tail light 100% is. Definitely the original carb. Looks like it's missing part of the petcock where the fuel goes into. Has the air box. Looks like there's a extra spark plug right down in here. Has the oil tank. These are oil injected. So there's going to be a line that goes down to a pump and injects it into the cylinder to lube the piston. This one does have the coil up here. That's good, just in case we need a spare. Blinkers are on this one as well, broken off, but they're still on there. Headlights on here. Interesting headlight. And looks like the tag actually says $1,200 on this one. I'm guessing that's what the seller wanted for it at the auction. Probably didn't get that. Or maybe he took it to a swap meet at one point. It had 1,200 bucks on there. But here's the auction tag for it. O'Brien Auctioneer. So, I think that's the auction it came from. Original horn. Missing the key. So, this one, as of right now, makes a very good parts bike. And I think this is the one we're going to work on first. This one has the most potential, I think. So this one has the original carb and it isn't missing that piece. Gas line's still on there going up to the gas tank. My gas tank, I believe, has been lined. Or maybe not. We'll take a closer look at that in a second. Let's see if the throttle's working. Yep. So that's not locked up. Newer battery in there. Fuse in there. I noticed that the wheel bearings are pretty shot. Chain is extremely rusty. But this one actually kicks over and shifts. So I think what we're going to do is start with this one, see if we can get this one running, and then we'll dig into this one if we have time and start diagnosing this one. All right, let's start digging into this one. First thing we're going to check is the oil. So right down here, it looks like there's a little screw cap that comes off. I don't know if there's a dipstick on that or not. Nope. That looks like it's broken in half as well. A couple threads left. I'm guessing that's where you add transmission oil, possibly. It looks like there might be a little check bolt right here we can take off and see if there's oil in there. Then coming up here is the oil tank for the two-stroke oil. And that appears to be missing the cap. And the window looks empty. Little dipstick going down. Who thinks there's oil in it? I do not. Oh, a little bit in there, not a whole lot. Definitely gonna have to drain it and see how much is in there. It looks pretty clear. One more time here. I can kind of feel the clutch in the way. Yeah, looks pretty clear. All right, let's check the check bolt. See if any oil's coming out of there. You can see the check bolt right there. Let's go ahead and crack that bolt compared to the rest of the bike. Nothing coming out. We'll tilt the bike a little bit. Still nothing. I think she's pretty low. Alright, so what we're gonna do is just pour a little oil in there until it comes out of the check bolt. Nothing coming yet. Nothing yet. Coming out of that hole yet? Jeez. Is that clogged up or something? Oh, there we go. Leaking out now. Alright, that's plenty for now. We're gonna change it anyway. Just wanted to get some in there. Alright, let's check out the gas tank next. I mean, that looks pretty darn clean. Get a flashlight, take a look. Yeah, look at that. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, I can see some tape here around the petcock. So this tank, I'm guessing they just recently painted and just kind of gave up on it. You can see it was sandblasted. There's a bunch of sand underneath the tape. Yeah. So I'm guessing they sandblasted the inside of the tank. So obviously there's no gas in it. We'll have to take a closer look at that petcock later. See if that's working. Feels smooth. Alright, hopefully this thing shifts through the gears. We're in neutral right there. First. Second. Yeah. There we go. Now it's going. It's 1 down, 4 up, looks like. Somewhat shifting through the gears. I think because it sat without oil for so long, it's probably a little dry in there. Get the seat off of here. Obviously it's been recovered. Gas tank has been repaired. JB weld on the bottom of it. And like I said, I think it's been sandblasted. You can hear some sand in the gas tank. We'll have to clean that out. But overall, it's not too bad. As long as it doesn't leak from the bottom, we should be good. Alright, we can see there's a, is that 12 volt battery? Let's see if it has any power here. Is that 6 volt or 12 volt? It's gotta be 6, right? There's no electric start on here. I think that's a 6 volt. There's a fuse here. Going in to what looks like a regulator here. Ooh, that's all taped up coming from the stator side. Wiring doesn't look too great. That's coming up to here. This one's not plugged in. It looks like missing something there. This one, oh, these are all not plugged in. Uh-oh. What were those for? Lights and stuff, possibly? Oh, and up here, nothing's plugged in. Oh man. Lots of stuff unplugged. Yeah, it's not looking too promising. This is for the... it's not looking too good. Let's see if the key is hooked up. I'm going to take that off and see if the ignition's working. But pretty much all the wiring is disconnected. Not great. Coil. So coil's connected there. It looks like a ground going to there. Yeah, that doesn't look too good. Let's see what the voltage is on the battery. See if we're getting anything. Looks like a newer battery. Nothing. Alright, so that's dead. Let's get the battery out and see if we can hook something up to it. Looks like just a couple bungee cords holding that on. I'm not sure where the positive wire lead is coming in. I'm guessing it's... That's the fuse, but where's the connection for it? Not seeing any battery connections anywhere here. Let me take a look at the other bike and see if I can see where these wires are supposed to be. Alright, so the battery is supposed to hook up to the positive here, and that's grounded. It's supposed to be grounded to the rectifier here. We're missing the ground. I don't know if it pays to really plug in a battery right now unless this thing needs a battery to run, which I don't think it does. The only other thing I can see... So this one right here has to be coming from the stator positive. So one's going to be positive, one's negative. So this one should be negative right here. This one should be positive. So we'll see if everything's hooked up right. I doubt it is. We might have to do some wiring on this thing. But let's go ahead and take out the spark plug. We can see if we get spark with the way it's wired right now. Looks like the spark plug's out of it. I don't know, I've never seen that kind of a attachment before in a spark plug wire. Interesting. Spark plug was just in a couple threads. BP R5ES plug, brand new. Not great. So this thing probably hasn't been running in a long time. Let's spray some lubrication down there. Little oil going down. Little penetrating oil. Kick this thing over a couple times. See what it feels like without the plug in. Oh, it's smooth. Really smooth. Alright, do we have spark? I highly doubt it. Let's see. It'd be awesome if we did. Oh, looks like there might be electric start on this thing. Now that I'm turning the key, there's a third setting for the key that has a spring. So maybe that was a 12-volt battery. Alright, let's see what we get. Uh-oh. Nothing. Oh, there's spark. No way. How does that thing have spark? The wiring is so cobbled together. Wow. I am truly amazed. This bike has spark. Look at this. Actually, pretty decent spark. Turn the light off for you guys. Check this out. Wow. Pretty decent spark. So somehow, some way, we have spark. We're gonna have to clean up some of these wires just to make sure we don't ground anything out. So we're gonna go around and tape everything up. All right, we're gonna fix the wires here. I don't trust these connections. Yeah. Cut off a little bit more of this wire. We'll get these connected up right. Can't really use the twist-on connectors when your bike is vibrating and exposed to rain. We're gonna be using these. This is solder, and then it's got the weatherproof seal on there. Just heat that up and it'll form to the wires here. That's fixed. This one. These are all very important, coming right from the ignition. So you don't want those loose when you're riding the bike. And then there's one more over here we can fix. This one's the positive wire going in. Get rid of that. Alright, so that's all fixed. Looking good. Now those are tight connections made. Alright, then we went around to all the wires, and everything that was exposed we covered with electrical tape just for a temporary fix there. Just so it's not grounding out to the gas tank or other wires or the frame. So that is all good to go. Alright, let's test this thing for compression next. Alright. Alright, let's see what we get. For a little two-stroke, we want to see about 120 psi. So hopefully we're close to that. Let's see. We can do throttle open and kick it over. Get this thing a little bit further away. Alright, throttle open. Here we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we're a little low. Oh no. We're at 91 PSI. Uh-oh, not good. Let's throw a little oil down the cylinder and see if it shoots way up. Those rings might be stuck. Oh boy. A little oil going down. Either really worn down or stuck. Or it could be a scratched cylinder too. Let's see what we get. Didn't go up a whole lot. We're like 95, 96. Alright. So we're a little low on compression. Those rings have to be stuck. Let's take a quick look down there with our camera. See what's going on. I hope the piston's not all dinged up. See what we're dealing with here. Ooh. Looks like a couple dings in the piston there. Possibly on the edges. See how they're kind of frayed like that? And that's just the oil playing tricks on us. Yeah, you can see a bunch of oil in it. Ooh, is that a scratch on the cylinder right there? Oh. There's a couple big gouges right there. You guys see that? Right there and right there. Let's change the view mode. See if we can get a closer look. Ooh. I don't know what that is. That's gotta be scratches right there, right? Yeah. Possibly. Unless it's just oil. Let's kick it over a couple times. See what that piston looks like coming up and down. Those big gouges are still over there. See the two lines over here? I'm not liking that. I think those are big gouges. We'll see. We're gonna try to get this thing to fire up, but it's only got 90 PSI. All right, so we've got good spark. Compression's a little bit low. It might still fire up with 90 PSI. We'll have to wait and see until we can clean out that carb and get some fuel going to it. But typically you want over 100 PSI, and then like right around 120 is like the sweet spot for a little 125 two-stroke. So hopefully it's just stuck rings and there's not two big gouges there, which it looks like there is. We'll see here soon enough. But let's go ahead and get the carburetor off and the air filter off and start working on that. I'm sure that does basically nothing. Alright. Got our throttle cable here. See if the slide's going up and down. Yeah, we're good there. Alright, let's see if we can get our carburetor to come off of here. And also get this line off here. Ooh, that's loose on there too. Alright. Gas line's off. I think we can get the carb off now. There we go. Get our slide off. That's what that looks like. Interesting way how that works. Carb. Looks like it was supposed to be a primer piece there. Here's your idle adjust here. Here's your air screw. Alright, let's tear into that, see what's going on. Alright, let's take a peek at the carb here. So it looks like there's bolts holding it on. Two of them right here and right here. The carb says SH220. A little gunked up. The Lorto carb. Got all the little jets in here. A little gunk in there, but not too bad. Float. Take that out. Pin came right out. Never seen a float like that before. Pretty cool. Alright, let's take the jets out. What size is that? 55 it says. That is clogged. I'll have to get that one cleared up. There's the main jet. And this one is a bunch of numbers on it. 5899.1. Interesting. And it looks like this might be the little pilot here. What size is that? 50. Yeah, that's gotta be the pilot. And obviously that one is clogged as well. Let's see, I think it's just stuck. There we go. So this is the choke. You can see that's stuck on there. So it's supposed to pull up. We'll let this sit in the ultrasonic cleaner. See if we can free that up. Oh, there we go. Just a little bit stuck. So we got that freed up. That's good. And then we've got the air screw. We are at 1.5 on the air screw. Take a look at where the fuel goes in. I'm guessing there's a little filter underneath this cap. Take a peek. Yep, it's a little O-ring here. And a a little filter. Quick take that out, check it out. Alright, filter looks good too. Let's see if that's going right to the seat. There we go. You can see the pilot comes out of the air screw hole. So all the passageways are free, not clogged. So we are going to let this sit in the ultrasonic cleaner for a little bit, maybe 30 minutes, come back and blow it all out with the air compressor. Carb going in here. Got our float, jets, and our bowl. We're gonna let that cook. All right, 30 minutes later, carb is out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Looking good. We blew through all the passageways. All the jets are cleaned up, blown through. Bowl looks good. Everything is cleaned up so we can get this car back together and back on the bike. This is going to go through here. Get that back on here. We'll leave the air filter off for now. We might have to spray a little pre-mix down the carb to get this thing to fire. We'll see. Get the plug back in. So I found out that the plug that was in there is wrong for it. So they had a BPR5ES plug, and the plug that's supposed to be in there is a B7HS plug. You can see the difference on the threads. This one was a lot longer. So let's get this one in here. See if that works a little bit better. There we go. All right, working on the gas tank. You can see the petcock here. We saw that this was taped up. Let's go ahead and try to get this off and take a peek at it. Pretty crunchy in there. I think from all the sand, when they sandblasted the tank. Ooh, the filter looks pretty good. Alright, see if the passageway is clear. Yeah, looks pretty good. Alright, so that might leak. We'll have to test it, but we're gonna let this sit in the ultrasonic cleaner, get off all this gunk. Alright, petcock looks good. Everything's moving freely. Let's get that installed. We cleaned up the threads in the gas tank. We shouldn't have a leak from there. Alright Alright, gas line's hooked up over here. We're gonna feed it through to here. Probably cut it right about there. There. Probably put the filter here. Zip tie that to there so it doesn't hit the pipe. All right, we're gonna put some 481 mix in, see if this gas tank leaks. Not leaking yet. We're getting good gas flow. That is very surprising. Check this out. Great gas flow going in. No leaking from the petcock. That's a miracle. We'll see when it stops flowing if it leaks. So far so good. Wow. Not bad. All right, let's check out the oil injection unit. I believe this is the clutch adjust here. We're gonna take off both these covers and just investigate, see what's going on. I believe there should be another cable going into here. Oh, there's not even a cable going in. It's just the gas line, or the oil line, I mean, going in. So I'm guessing this is bypassed. Let's take a peek underneath here. Let's see if the pump is still in. We'll see what this pump looks like too. Oh, there we go. We're gunked up. All right, pump is still in there. We've got the oil line going to it. And the oil line going out is actually cut off. You can see it's supposed to be coming out right by there. So this line here is cut. So I'm gonna look at the other bike and see where that's supposed to lead to. The other bike shows the line that was cut going to the top of the intake there. That's blocked off. So good, it was bypassed and there is no air leak coming from there. It shouldn't be. So let's take a look at the other cover. So we know that the oil pump is bypassed. Let's see what's underneath here. I think it's the clutch adjust. Oh man, maybe we won't be taking a look. Okay, never mind. But yeah, that's right where the clutch is. So I'm guessing there's a nut you can adjust underneath this cover. We'll take that off if we have problems shifting. Well, I think we're ready for the first start attempt. So the spark looks great, and we changed out that spark plug to the correct plug, so everything with the ignition system should be fine. Compression was at 90 psi, which is pretty low. We're hoping that it's just a stuck ring and that the cylinder isn't scored, which it looks like it might be. The carb is holding gas, no leaking from the carb. That's all cleaned out. All the jets are good to go. We've got premix going to it, and nothing's leaking. So let's go ahead and kick this thing over and see if it starts up. I'm a little worried about the low compression, so hopefully it's enough to start this thing. We will see. We're gonna choke it right there, turn it on. All right, here we go. On you go. She wants to go. I think I realized why. There is a nut welded onto the crank. I think that's how they started this thing, because it was low compression. So we're going to take a drill, attach it there and crank it over, and we'll see what happens. Because right now, I don't think kickstarting it is doing the job. It wants to fire, it just doesn't have enough compression. So it's definitely getting gas too. I can feel it pumping out of the car at my leg when I kick it. We'll try kicking it one more time here. Choke it. Get our drill. There we go. So they had JB welded this nut onto the flywheel, and that just came off. So now there's no nut holding the flywheel on, and the shaft is all stripped out. So we have no way of rotating this thing over. Shoot. So what we're gonna do is dump a bunch of oil down here, see if we can get that compression to raise. All right, we'll get the spark plug back out. Yeah, you can see what the plug is. We're definitely getting gas. I think it's just too low of compression. All right, oil going down. Load that up. All right, let's see if we can kickstart it. Go. Close. Yeah, that compression is just not there. Wants to go. Oh man. Yeah. All right, let's test compression one more time. All right, I suspect compression's not going up at all unless you add a ton of oil to it. So I think those were gouges on the cylinder, unfortunately. Ooh. There's metal pieces on the spark plug. Almost looks like pieces of the piston are coming apart. That's not good. Kick it over. Ooh, I think we're even less compression than before. Yeah, we're like 82 PSI. So compression's getting worse. Yeah, and then the chunks on the spark plug, not a good sign. All right, looks like the mount here has to come off. It already was loose on there. So somebody had this off. I'm guessing they probably had the head off too. Yeah, guessing they took the head off, saw the piston was damaged, and then just put it back together to sell it. Take off the oil tank too. Ah, these are loose too. Look at that. Yeah, somebody had this whole thing apart. Take the tank off. Let that dangle. Yep, 10 millimeter. Alright, loosen this one up a little bit. I think I'm getting the whole stud out. See if the head can come off here. Let's take a closer look in there. See the little divots in the head? Oh yeah, look at down the cylinder too. Look at the little chunks of metal everywhere. Yeah, that's not good. It's all dinged up. All those little divots. I think the piston edges are breaking off like we saw on the camera. How they were rough. Yeah. Not good. Alright, let's take a look at the cylinder next. We're gonna quick take off the carb. Get those springs off. There's the header pipe. Nothing's holding it down. Yeah. see how bad that is. Yup. Oh, holy cow. There's a bunch of metal chunks in there. Jeez. And check this out. Big gouges right there. Like we saw on the camera. So those were definitely gouges right there. We'll take a closer look in a second. But man, that piston's just falling apart. That's why I had low compression. Wow. Let's see if we can get a closer look in there. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, that rod bearing's junk too. Look at all the pieces. It's all metal. How'd that rod bearing not lock up? Oh man. So cases have to be split. It's all metal in there. Is the rod bearing still good? Oh, there's a big chunk here too. What is that? What the heck is that? Part of the piston? Oh yeah, look at the whole piston skirt's gone. Oh, how is this thing not locked up? Look at the whole half of the piston's gone. I'm surprised it even had 90 psi. Wow. Look at that. That whole side's gone. Oh man, is that bad. That's way worse than I thought. I thought maybe there was just like a little metal piece scratching on the side of the cylinder. The whole thing is chewed up. Holy cow. That whole bearing is broken apart in there. Look at the roller bearing. Just falling apart. Wow. Try to get that out without getting it down the case. Take a magnet, get the rest of it. Yeah, lots of metal in there. Just turn it over and we'll see if, yeah, now it's locked up. So something must have fallen in there. All right, looking at the cylinder, let's quick wipe that out. I'll show you guys the huge gouges in it. So my guess is that the upper bearing went and then the piston was rattling around in there and then the skirt broke off and then pieces of it fell off and scored the cylinder and then it caused low compression. But let's take a quick look. So unfortunately a cylinder is not salvageable at all either. Those are huge gouges down there. You can probably see them from this way better. Two big lines going all the way up. So this bike has been like this for a while because this is the piece that was sticking out of the flywheel to rotate the engine over faster so they could attempt to start it. So it was low compression for a long time. And I'm guessing the guy saw it was like 90 psi and he's like, well, it should fire. So then he would rotate the engine over faster and faster and faster and then it just wouldn't start because of the low compression. But the low compression was due to the scored cylinder and the half piston. Check this out. The whole thing's just broken right off. So this fell down into the crank shaft area. So yeah, the piston just broke right in half. And you can tell it's been like this for a while because you can see the top of the piston. And then the head, of course. So I was hoping the cylinder would be fine, but yeah, that's Gonna need to be bored out to the next size over. So yeah, this is turning into a big money pit, and there's really nothing we can do about it. I don't even know if they have parts for this thing. Hopefully the parts for the 73 are the same for the 74, 75, 76, 77, and 78. If not, there's no way we're finding that cylinder and head, or even the piston for it. So hopefully they didn't change the design from 73. Alright, so this bike, you know, we can't really do much with at this point. We're gonna have to look for parts. But if parts are not cheap enough, I don't know if we're even gonna mess with this thing. It might be better off as a parts bike because it needs wheel bearings, chains, sprockets. All the wiring is cut and messed up. The gauge is cracked. The fenders are all dented in. The front wheel is wobbly and all the tires are off the rim. So it might be a parts bike. The pipe is nice on it. The engine was cut here so that piece of the flywheel could come out so you could start it with the drill. You can see how much of the wiring is cut. Yeah, this is, I think, going to be a parts bike. So what we're hoping for is that the second bike is going to be fine. Obviously right now it's locked up, but we're hoping it's better than this bike over here. Alright, let's start going over this bike now. So as you can see, this one is locked up completely. I'm hoping the cylinder and the head look better than the other one. But let's go ahead and start tearing everything down, and we'll see what the shape of this one's in. This one came with a Harley plug. That's gotta be the original plug, look at that. Alright, checking the oil, it looks like a cap is broken off in there. So we're off to a good start. Ooh, oh, that is bad. There's solid gas stuck to the bottom, probably an inch of gas just rusted right on. Yeah, gas tank might be junk too. Oh no. Alright, seat coming off. Gas tank coming off. Alright, how bad could this one be? We're gonna find out right now. Here we go. Zoom in so you guys can see it. Oh man. Oh, the piston's tight in there. Look at all the rust. Yeah, water got in there and just locked that sucker up. Oh man. But can the cylinder be saved? I don't see any major scratches on it. So we might be able to save the cylinder and just hone it back out. But that piston, look at that. What's going on down there? Looks like big gouges out of it. Ooh. Take a look at the head. Looks a lot better. It's not all dinged up. See that? Just a lot of rust. So my guess is that this started having problems or was locked up and somebody let it sit outside with the spark plug out of it, and that's how it got all rusty. That piston's gonna be stuck to it, isn't it? compound. We'll rub the mallet tap. Uh-oh. Maybe it is. There's the head gasket. Oh, it's coming. Aha. We can get the cylinder off without cracking it. It might be in business here. There we go. Woo. Look at that. I don't see any scratches though. Yeah, just a thick layer of rust. So that cylinder might be okay. Cylinder off. No, thing's locked up tight. So bottom end, it's junk on this one too. All right, let's check out the head. So as you can see, it's just carboned up, but no dings or anything on the head. So the head is definitely better than the head we took off the other bike. You can see. And the cylinder, let's take a look in there. I think there's just a big layer of rust over everything. You can see all the water droplets in there. Big rust wall right there where the piston set. But no scratches whatsoever. So this didn't have a problem with it that locked it up. I think it just sat outside and rusted away, and that's how it got locked up. So unfortunately, it's highly rusted, but I think we can save it. It's definitely better than a gouged cylinder. So maybe we can use this cylinder with the other engine. Well, we definitely lost on these bikes, I think, today. Both of them were completely wrecked. Both top ends were junk. Both bottom ends are pretty much junk and have to be gone through. So we're gonna do some research tonight and see if parts are available for it, and then decide if we want to rebuild one of the engines and plop it in one of these bikes. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards parting these things out and just getting rid of them. The gas tank, the cool gas tank on this one is not salvageable, and that's what I really liked about the bike. Yeah, I mean, between the two bikes, I think you could make one nice one if we can find parts. So I guess the first thing we're gonna have to do is see if parts are available and then make our decision based on that. But a lot of good parts on them, but you know, they're both really, really, really rough. But yeah, I was really hopeful today to get at least one running and driving by the end of the video. But unfortunately, that piston was already broken in half when we bought it. No way of telling that if the bike kicks over smooth. I had no idea, so the only way to tell is to tear it all down and figure it out, which we did. Unfortunately, it was a bad surprise. I think that's where we're gonna wrap this one up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed picking these up for 200 bucks a piece, diagnosing them, trying to get the one to start today and failing at that and then tearing them all down and seeing the damage. These look like they had pretty rough lives. We're hoping we can at least save one of them. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video. And until next time, we are out.